All right, before we get started, cell phones, everybody? Since this is a TV broadcast. Okay, my name is Dave Hansen. I'm the chairman of the MIT Enterprise Forum of Texas here in Houston. On behalf of the Enterprise Forum and the Texas Young Professionals, I'd like to welcome you all here to the program tonight. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers I think that will just enthrall you. We've had 3 programs so far here in the last 2 days. Well, this is the 3rd program in the last 2 days on social entrepreneurship with these speakers. We wanted to give the Houston community as much of a chance as possible to see these speakers. Every time I've heard them, seen them, I've just been amazed of what they've done. Their energy, enthusiasm, and all the hard work they put in. I think you're really going to enjoy the program tonight. We're going to have a couple of introductions to get started with. I'd like to bring up Lisa Shumate, who's the general manager for the Houston Public Media. This is the 2nd program that we've done with Channel 8. We did a shale gas fracking almost a year ago today that was very successful, and we're following up with this program here. So I'm really excited to be working with Channel 8 and recording some of our programs, and particularly the program tonight. So, Lisa Shumate.
Good evening. I'll just make it very brief and just let you know how honored we are to be your media partner for this event. We're going to be taping the show tonight and have plans to air it in November because we think, once again, you've come up with a very newsworthy topic. Last year it was fracking, this year social entrepreneurship, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing tonight's speakers. If you don't mind, and at the risk of embarrassing her, I would like to introduce a colleague who's here tonight with us, and that's Dr. Bonnie Dunbar. If you would stand, Bonnie, 5-time mission specialist. She is the director, yes, NASA, one of NASA's true stars, and they have many, of course, and she is the director of the STEM Center here at the University of Houston, which, of course, is our home as well. So thank you for being here tonight, Bonnie. She's a true advocate of STEM, and I don't have to tell you how important that is to our future. So once again, thank you for tonight. Thank you for this wonderful topic, also so important to our future, and we'll let the evening begin. Thank you.
Okay, before I bring up the next speaker, I'd like to just take a couple of minutes and tell you a little bit about the MIT Enterprise Forum, because some of you may not be that familiar with the MIT Enterprise Forum. We are one of 27 worldwide chapters that's associated with MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was first formed by MIT alums, but you do not need to be a MIT graduate to be part of the MIT Enterprise Forum. And what we try and do in the Enterprise Forum is promote technological entrepreneurship and talk about technology, talk about economics, and talk about entrepreneurship. So the program we have tonight is an example of one of the flagship programs that's part of our schedule of events here in Houston. We try and have 7 flagship programs per year. In addition to the flagship programs, we also have new venture clinics where we bring in startup companies who present their business plans to a group of senior advisors, and they get very valuable feedback from the advisors, both on their presentation as well as their strategy. So we help entrepreneurs in that way of getting their company started. And the last thing we do as part of the Enterprise Forum is we have networking socials that allow people to get together, particularly entrepreneurs, and talk about things that are going on in the Houston community and make connections. Now, one of the things I should mention is you don't need to be an MIT alum to be part of our organization. I'm a good example of that. I'm a Berkeley graduate. I never went to MIT. And I'm chairman of the MIT Enterprise Forum. So, if you're interested at all, we'd love to have volunteers and to have you be part of our organization and put on some great programs. These are some of the upcoming programs we have. October, we're going to have a networking social. In November, we have Dr. Richard Lester from MIT who's going to be talking about innovations that need to be created or come up with for energy, to make energy viable here for the future. In January, we have a business forecast luncheon with a vice president from the Federal Reserve, John Duca, and also a top economist from BBVA Compass. In February, we're going to have a program in cloud computing, and then in April, we'll have a program on regenerative medicine. So we have some really great programs, and look forward to seeing you all at some of these future programs. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. We're an all-volunteer organization, and we try and price our events so that we just essentially break even. We want as many people as possible to come to our events, and so we really rely on sponsors to help make us viable and be able to put on various functions, whether it's the New Venture Clinic or also programs. So I want to say thank you for our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without it. Tonight, I'm going to ask NRG to come up and talk about their sponsorship of the event tonight. NRG has been very generous in sponsoring this program tonight. They're one of our event sponsors. These are all annual sponsors that you see on the slide here. But tonight we have a event sponsor who made this program possible, and it's not inexpensive to rent a studio, record the program, and have it broadcast on TV. So Christine Walker, who's the Director for Marketing at NRG, would you please come up?
Thanks, Dave, and welcome everybody. We are truly honored to sponsor tonight's event, and so glad you could make it. I know this is going to be an awesome presentation. Just a couple words about NRG. We are a different kind of energy company. We are not only interested in how energy is made, but we care about new innovations in energy, and we also care about the communities and the people that live in them. So we're going to show just a short video about some of the social entrepreneurship that we've been involved in over the past couple of years, projects in Haiti and Houston, just to give you a taste of the kind of things that happen in corporate America in this space. Thanks again.
NRG has a great heritage of serving people in need. We go in and use what we know how to do from a power generation standpoint to really, really change people's lives.
One of the key aspects of our charitable giving, we try and encourage employee involvement. Just writing a check wasn't enough. After a disaster, people need energy, and specifically electricity, as soon as possible. And we want to be part of that solution. When we look at the need in Haiti, the grid covers very little part of the country, and it's totally unreliable. So we saw Haiti as a place where we could really make a difference.
To increase the production at the hatchery, we need energy. There's no going around it.
We're one of the only trauma hospitals in the entire country. For a trauma hospital not to have working x-ray is really hurting us right now.
The biggest expense for Zami Beni, the children's home, was diesel fuel.
Solar power gives us an inexhaustible supply of electricity. It enables life in a way that other things don't.
To have electricity 24/7, using the power of the sun, which is always there, made life so much easier.
And you can see the impact right here. If the kids are right next door, you'll know that they'll get the benefit for years to come.
In 2 years, we went for a mere 100,000 pounds of fish to over 1 million pounds of fish. So thank you.
We had 50 nurses and staff members laid off. We're going to save around $50,000 a month. And so that's going to allow us to hire a lot back. We just can't wait.
Haiti allows us to look at how solar can make a difference in a very individualistic way. Clearly in Haiti, but even here in the United States, I think solar power humanizes electricity.
A lot of our kids had nowhere to play in the water, and nowhere to swim. The splash pad being solar powered. It's informative, it's educational, and it's recreational, all rolled into one.
The
the Power to Serve truck is a specially fit out vehicle that will move into disaster areas and be able to provide electricity and help as many people as possible.
When we do have a disaster, our people are going to be trained, committed, and there to really provide relief, and that's why we called it the Power to Serve.
This shows that NRG is willing to go the extra mile to provide people with sort of their most fundamental energy needs. This is what we are. When we say we're going to do something, we get it done.
Thank you, Christine. You'll also be hearing about solar power a little bit later in the program, too. The next person I'd like to introduce is Niall Henderson. He is our program chairman for the MIT Enterprise Forum, and he's been the program chairman for a little over a year now. I think he enjoys it so much, he has moved all the way back to the UK. He works for BP. He worked with us for a year, setting up all these programs, moved back to the UK, flew back here for this program, and is going to fly back for the program in November that he set up. He's so enthused about putting together programs for us, and we really appreciate the work that he's done. He's put on some blockbuster events for us. Shale gas fracking here at Channel 8 a year ago was one of them. So I'd like to introduce Niall Henderson, who will tell you a little bit about the program, and we'll introduce our moderator tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, for the introduction. It's always a great privilege to be the program chair of the MIT Enterprise Forum. We've had some terrific events, but we rely on the support of the audience themselves, yourselves. So thank you very much for coming this evening. Thank you very much to NRG for being our sponsor. But most of all, thank you. We're delighted to have the speakers. It's really an exceptional cast of speakers. One thing I thought I could do in these few moments I have to speak is actually give you a little bit of a flavor of the mission statements of the organizations that the speakers represent, because I was kind of reading them over the past 2 days, and they really are pretty exceptional. So the first one is in no particular order. It's Catherine Lucy from Solar Sisters, and Catherine's organization. What they're doing is actually two things. They're empowering women with economic opportunity, particularly in Africa, and they're also eradicating energy poverty. So I love those words of eradicating energy poverty. I think that's a terrific goal to have, and Catherine's going to tell us a lot more about how her organization is achieving that. The next one is Jill Violette, and Jill's company is Playworks, and their mission statement is really to ensure that every child gets a chance to play every day. And that may sound a little bit strange, but what that really means to children is that they look forward to their play break at school, rather than dreading their play break at school. So they come back into the classroom energized and ready to learn, rather than fearing the play break that's a period that they will get bullied and marginalized and excluded. So Jill's going to tell us a lot about the fabulous work that she has done in that domain. Raphael's organization is called Genesis Works, and what Raphael has managed to do is he's really enabling economically disadvantaged high school students to enter and participate in the economic mainstream. So these are high school children who are at a very delicate age when they've come from underprivileged backgrounds and they could easily go off the rails completely. And Raphael is giving them an opportunity to come into the economic mainstream, into blue chip companies, do internships, and really develop the self-confidence and the self-esteem to go on and participate in that. Really the A track in the economy. So that's Raphael's going to say a lot more about how that's achieved. Our final two speakers are Michael Zakaris and Hans Hickler. They're both associated with Ashoka. Ashoka is one of the largest organizations in the world for social entrepreneurs, and Ashoka's mission is really to enable everyone a change maker world, and that means everyone, and that includes yourselves. So it's really their mission is to give everybody the skills and the confidence to go out into the world and actually make a positive change. So that's it's no small ambition, but they're well on the way to achieving that. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a flavor of the types of organizations that are represented here. I find it very inspiring, and I hope when you hear the speakers, you will be equally motivated and, as David said, enthralled by it. So delighted that they come, delighted that you're able to join us this evening. And I would just like to introduce Michael Haggerty, who's going to be our moderator for this evening. Michael is a radio producer of the Houston Matters program, which is on NPR. So from the amateurs, we'll turn it to the professionals.